What's happening now? What do you see?
There's a being in front of me. Super bright. Looks like an alien.
Oh,
Just a classic one you would imagine.
the classic one?
Yeah. Kind of gray, kind of bulbous. Small body. Looking over me.
Looking over you? Oh, where are you now?
I'm inside their ship. It's so bright. Feels medical. Feels like a medical thing.
How does the alien feel that you're looking at, the shiny one?
Calm. Normal. And nothing's weird to them.
Nothing's weird to them. Are there many or a few?
There's 3, but only one that's standing above me.
How do you feel being with them?
Pretty calm.
Oh, good. How is your body positioned?
I'm laying.
Oh, what are you laying on?
I'm laying on a table. It's the metal, but it doesn't feel uncomfortable.
Oh, that's good.
It looks metal.
It looks metal. What kind of space are you in?
I'm in a medical setting.
Medical setting.
There's bright lights and there's a lot of technology, and it seems like their version of an operating room.
A version of what?
An operating room.
Oh, okay.
Or a hospital room.
A hospital room. Is it what are the colors of this room?
Mostly gray, but there's so much light. It's just shining from everywhere.
When you look down at your own body, what do you look like?
I look like me, but younger.
Are you wearing anything?
No.
Can you move your body as you're laying there?
Not really. I can move my toes.
Oh, okay. So just, you're feeling okay, you said, right?
Yeah.
All right. What's happening next? What happens next?
They're taking a being. They're taking a baby, but it's not old. It's not even a baby yet.
Oh. Is it okay to tell me on how to do that?
They're taking it from, they're going into my vagina. They're taking it out. But it's so small. They're taking it. It feels like a sack of cells. It's not even in it. It's not developed yet.
Oh.
And they put it there.
They have put it there in the first place?
Yeah.
How do you know?
I just know. It's not the first time I've experienced them.
Oh, okay. Is it always the same ones that do this with you, or?
I can't tell exactly, but it feels the same. I think that it is, but I can't be for sure, certain.
What about them? Are they like explaining what they're doing to you, or?
They are, in a way. They have before. I'm comfortable and I know what's going on. But I feel like this is the first time they've done this by taking this sack of cells.
Right. How is that for you with this procedure going on?
I don't feel oddly about it. I feel normal.
Okay, good. All right, and they're careful with you.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you mind seeing if you can ask the one that's closest, or can you see if we can ask them some questions?
Yes.
Is it okay for them?
Yes.
Wonderful. Please express the gratitude for them willing to answer some questions and to chat for a bit. Can you ask them what is their aim with this procedure? Why is this important to them?
They're saying they're taking us somewhere else.
Oh.
You're taking humans somewhere else.
Can you ask them, why is that important? Why do you want to take humans somewhere else?
They've learned a lot. They're from Earth in a way. We're their ancestors. And they have gone in a different direction and learned a lot. And so they're trying to create something new now.
And they're doing this by taking humans somewhere else?
They can't have babies.
They cannot have babies?
No.
Oh.
And so they're trying to take certain aspects of human life and human abilities that they don't have anymore and create new people in a new place.
Oh. And
using the things that they have and the things that we have together.
Oh, so it's like a blending.
Yeah.
All right. Oh. What kind of things went, when they developed in a certain place, what kind of things did they stop being able to do? What was their focus and what was missing? What became missing?
They were focused on technology and streamlining and lack of emotion. They found that passion was disruptive. They found that passion for each other was disruptive, got in the way of learning. But they're stuck.
With the development that they went into?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting. Is it okay for me to ask questions about?
Yes.
So curious, yeah. So the things that they're trying to bring back, does that include emotions?
They think it generates so much energy. And it's you can make so many things with that energy. Emotion. And they're describing it like they want to be able to develop spiritually, but they feel like they can't. And they didn't realize that they were connected. Those two things.
That spiritual development comes with having feelings or even emotions?
Yes, emotions and passions and experiences that come with them.
That's very interesting. What about them? Like you said, they are our ancestors in a way. Do they still consider Earth as their home, or do they live somewhere else?
No, they are multidimensional. They move through many places and times even. So they didn't destroy it. It exists, but they just don't feel attached to it. It's not important.
It's not important. What is it that they didn't destroy that is their cradle in a way?
Their home, the planet. They say that. That's a misconception.
What is a misconception?
People think that they destroyed their home.
Oh.
They say a lot of humans think that they polluted their home and destroyed it. That's why they're doing this, but it's not.
And is when you talk about what their home is that Earth, or is it in a different place?
It is Earth.
Oh.
But describing it, it's not the same Earth that we're on. It's a different place, they're calling it. And they're describing it to me in my terms as a timeline. But they're saying that's just the way I understand it best.
Okay. Is it like a different vibrational expression of Earth, or is it in a totally different location?
Yeah, they're saying it's more similar to that. It's not in a different location, it's just a different reality of Earth, they consider it a different place.
Oh, that is so interesting. Huh. Well, I don't mean to be disrespectful. Do you go by any kind of designation or a name?
They don't. They don't talk. So they don't. They say that they could for us, but it would just be for us.
Right. How does communication happen?
It's telepathic, but the way that we think of telepathic communication is still using words, because that's the way we communicate. So when we receive thoughts, we turn them into words, but they don't need words. So when they telepathically communicate, it's just like an instantaneous knowing.
What about the this person that you're taking these clumps of cells from? Like, what is the... Why do you work with this one and not someone else? Is there any... Do you work with specific humans and not others, or what is the criteria?
They work with a lot of people. And the people that they work with have certain dispositions, either behaviorally or genetically or a mixture of the two. They have certain attachments to their experience. They can experience certain things different ways. They're attached to creating things with their passion. They're attached to seeing things that are around them and understanding things that are around them. These beings we want to create, we want them to be advanced in their use of their passion, their emotions.
That's very interesting. What about this one that you're now working with, that you're extracting these cells from? What is interesting about her? Why are you working with her?
She sees things and feels things. She accepts things that other ones don't, even though they could see things and feel things too. There's some people who ignore things that they see and feel because they don't think it's right. Or they don't think it's possible. And that transfers through your body too. That transfers through your body materials. Your beliefs are a part of you and your materials.
Yes.
And so we don't necessarily want the burden of teaching those things. We wouldn't know how.
You want it ready to go.
Yeah.
Understood. Oh, that's interesting. So how does that get set up? Like, how do you do this with these human beings? Do you just like pull them into the craft and just take the stuff, or is there any kind of agreement or consent happening? Well, how does that work?
They know before they come. They don't remember though.
Mm-hmm.
They decide. There's so many communications between all the different dimensions. And before they come into this dimension, they communicate that they're willing
to do this.
Yeah.
Yes. Is there any benefits to them for doing this?
They're creators, they're creating, they're helping, and some of them will be the beings that they're creating.
Some of them will what?
Become the beings that they're creating.
Oh, can you tell me more? I don't quite understand that.
If they decide to continue learning through incarnation, they can incarnate as these beings that they're creating.
Oh, like sort of these hybrids that you're in?
Yeah, they're excited to bring the ability, whether they choose to use it or not, to experience themselves in this way for other pieces of the whole, to be able to learn through this new place, this new world, this new being. And some of them will decide to learn in that way through the beings that they've enabled us to create.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Where do you take these beings that you're creating?
It's not.
Where?
It doesn't exist yet in this time. But they have a planet, and they will, over time, as you see it, develop a place in a society. And for now, we keep them here.
In the ship?
Yeah.
Oh.
They learn here through proximity and by watching and learning. They need to be near humans.
Okay, so kind of being able to watch what happens on the planet with humans?
Yeah.
Oh.
At this stage, they need that connection. They need that time to develop.
Oh.
But in the future, as you see it, they will have their own society and their own planet.
And you said that planet doesn't exist yet.
No.
How will the planet come into existence?
It's being created. It's being created and molded from different particles, different stars, different matter and energy. It's being born like a human.
Oh, like a human?
Yeah.
Huh.
Planets are living.
They're living. And so what is it being born from then? My understanding of humans being born is through the birth canal from a womb.
It's similar. It's being born from the materials around it. It's being born from sharing materials from its environment. It is a product of its universe.
Oh, that's what you mean. Right. Well, this planet, is that a deliberate creation by somebody, or is that sort of a natural flow of circumstances?
It's both in a way. It's everything is. Everything kind of is both. It is being created by everyone collectively. Some know that they're creating it more. Some are consciously creating it. And others are just kind of along for the ride, but at a certain point they know too.
Wow.
It's like there's a group, there's a whole, and then the whole segments off further and further and further and further and further. But there are pieces of the whole that have segmented off just enough to know all the things that the whole knows and remember, and just enough to feel individual. And those are the beings that are making decisions and creating consciously, so that when they segment off further and further, they can experience the things they created.
In those particular ways.
Yeah.
Ever more specific creations.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting. What about the beings that you're creating that have to stay on the ship for now to learn in proximity to humans? Do they ever have, like, human babies have the need for nurturing, physical nurturing, proximity in that sense? Is that something that these hybrid children have as well, and how is that taken care of?
It's difficult for them, but they understand. And we bring these beings that have created them with us back, and they interact with them, and they're happy to, and they watch them and feel close to them, feel nurtured by watching them. But it's also hard for them. They're different than we are. We can't be how they are, and so we can't give them everything they're wanting, but that is the burden of being
of the two.
You. Yes.
Oh, and so, but you're kind of remedying that by taking their mothers, if I can call them that, to spend time with these children.
Yes.
Yes. Oh. What about the one that you're currently involved with, are you ever taking her back to see her children?
We sometimes do. We have. But they can also communicate and feel them through opened consciousness.
Open consciousness.
And as they open their consciousness, their offspring feels connected to them without physical proximity.
Oh, is it something that Monica would want?
She does it without knowing.
She does it without knowing. Would it be fun for her? Would she enjoy knowing it, that she's doing this?
She will.
She will. Well, from your perspective, if she wanted to do this, what would be involved? How would she open up her consciousness to do this?
She already knows how to open her consciousness now. When she knows that this is a bridge, she will be more accepting of the information that comes and the feelings that come, and she'll know that she's connecting with them in those moments, but she has been connecting with them in those moments without knowing as well.
All right, so you're saying that once she listens to the recording of this process that we're doing here right now, she'll be more accepting of the possibility of this happening, and she'll be more attuned to it.
Yes, she's thought about it and wondered, but she didn't know. And now she'll know.
Okay. Does she have any connection to you? That she was one of the beings that you discussed this particular experience with prior to her coming into this life? Does she have any connection to you?
She does, in a way. She has more connections off this planet. And that's why she's attuned to connecting to the visions and understandings that some others may ignore.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're connected to her through our ancestry, but she does not spend a lot of time in this world.
Mm-hmm.
This world that we're living on, that we came from. Earth is more foreign to her.
Mm-hmm. You're saying she spends more time off planet, and she came in with a lot of those connections.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Do you know why she chose to come to this planet at this time?
She's been here many times. She's come here many times to be a portal for energy. But by coming here, she's become entangled with it.
Mm.
And she feels time and time again that she needs to come back.
Mm. What is the nature of the entanglement? How does that take place?
She feels that when she looks past on what she did here, she's created some things that would push it in a certain direction and some other things that would push it in a separate direction. And she wants to come back and help to navigate in the direction that she feels is helpful.
Oh.
So she keeps coming back because she doesn't feel that has been accomplished yet.
Mm. Like the course change hasn't happened quite yet?
Yes.
Mm. Is that how it works, the way that she feels it?
Yes.
Okay. Mm. So, what kind of course corrections did she come in to make at this time?
She wants to release any judgments. This place is very diverse.
Mm-hmm.
And her truest want is to have coexisting, because this place is a representation of many other places, many other species and beings.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's hard to coexist, but it's a microcosm, and so she has seen things in her other experiences that this place is a microcosm for. They're painful wars and destroying whole planets and civilizations. And if here the lesson can be learned, it will push out everywhere.
Mm. And what is the mechanism in this current lifetime to help her, to have her be less judgmental? How does she, what kind of experiences, or how does that happen in her current lifetime? What facilitates that?
She needs to accept herself. If she doesn't, she'll judge everyone.
Mm. Right. Right.
But if she does, she has no feeling or need to do that.
Yes. Are there any particular parts of herself that she hasn't been aware of, that she's not accepting of?
We feel she is more emotionally able than we are.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel I'm right to answer that question.
Okay, thank you for explaining that. What about, if I may ask, you don't have to answer it if you can't, what about, has she accepted her emotional self, the emotions, the feelings?
She has more than we have.
She
We
has more
have
than-
no emotions. We have a hard time understanding what that's like.
Mm-hmm.
But we can tell you that there are emotions that are unaccepted in her by the way that we see humans. We see her emotions as energy.
Mm-hmm.
And different emotions create different signifiers.
Mm-hmm.
And when they are angry or unaccepting of emotions, they are like explosions. We see them as huge energy creators that are uncontrolled. But when we see humans who have very much integrated their emotions through all their experiences, through their mental experiences, their physical experiences, and they're very integrated in all the energies that come together to make them. Emotions are just one energy. And we see them as very focused energy. It's not explosive.
Mm-hmm.
It's not shooting out haphazardly.
Mm-hmm.
And so in many ways she is that, but we'll see flares, like a solar flare coming off her.
Mm-hmm.
And that is when she's not emotionally regulated, when she has not, as we see it, because we see it as energy.
Right.
We don't understand the experience, but
Mm-hmm.
we see it as when all of her energy is understanding and working together.
Mm-hmm.
It's very focused. When it's incongruent, it explodes. And we can actually see this.
Wow. That is really neat the way you describe that. It's just interesting to hear your perspective. Do you have any guidance on, I mean, you're probably not very understanding of the emotional processes, but is there anything that you would like for her to know in terms of how to become more regulated emotionally, or to accept her feelings more? Is there a path or a procedure that you see for that for her?
We bring in the perspective of her offspring. They understand better. They feel that they see an opening to control your emotions by seeing them. They see the way that we see, but they feel the way that you feel.
Mm-hmm.
So they find it quite helpful to look at their energy visually.
Mm-hmm.
And when they see these explosions, it's obvious to them that there are emotions that are unintegrated.
Oh.
And they say that you can do that as well.
Wow.
It's not just biological.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need different eyes to see this energy.
So, I mean, this is my, my perspective. But wouldn't it be great if they could teach that to a bunch of humans on this planet on how to do that?
Absolutely. They're ready.
Is there a way that they can do this, that they can help humans to focus their emotional energy in that way, to be more accepting and to be able to focus and integrate it more?
Yes. They can communicate with anyone who trusts them, anyone who believes that it's true.
Because it's a wonderful perspective. That would be so helpful, wouldn't it be?
They find that people who feel their presence are most inclined to believe that they exist. People who know somehow, even though the memories are buried deep, that they have created these beings, will accept their communication when they're ready, and they are ready. They're ready to be there.
So it's more done in sort of an internal space. It's not like they're going to land the spaceship and say, "Hey people, I'm teaching a class on how to master your emotions."
They want this very much.
They want.
It's not up to us.
It's not up to us. Why is it not up to you?
It's up to, we're allowed to be here, we're allowed to be doing this, but we're not allowed to get in the way.
Right.
That's happened before.
Where you did get in the way?
Where many beings have gotten in the way.
Oh, on planet Earth?
Yes. And it's not how we're allowed right now to interact. And as you decide where you want to go, we hope that it will lead to integration with these beings.
That would be wonderful.
It would be a huge ability to learn for both of you.
How wonderful would that be? Yeah. So who is what is the place that allows or doesn't allow? Like, who is in charge of that?
It's many beings together. There's so many beings who are represented on this planet. The DNA of all have come together in this place to create a microcosm of an epic that's played out for a very long time, many different times, many different ways, and it's a schoolyard to learn and unlearn the many different traumas and roles that have been played on a larger scale. So all those beings from all those places who have come together and seeded this civilization are giving this civilization time to understand itself without anyone telling them what is and what isn't.
What would change that? What would open it up to, the experience of, landing the spaceship and giving a class an emotional integration?
Only two things, only acceptance and love of each other. Love is not romantic or familial. It's just a state of being. It's just a state of allowing. It's different for most beings than how you think of the word.
Mm-hmm.
And once there is acceptance and allowance, there is a certain lack of impulsivity attached to fear,
Mm-hmm.
and it will be a place that is open to discussion, to understanding, to learning,
Right.
to changing. But also there is the other option of destruction, and being stepping in to remove that possibility.
Mm-hmm. Has that possibility been sort of become necessary yet?
Yes, that's happened many times.
It's happened many times. Oh.
It's happened many times. This is only one iteration. This is only one experience of this place. It's been reset and reimagined many times.
Like 10 times, 20 times, 1,000 times?
Infinite amount of times.
Oh, wow.
There's so many different ways that this could be.
Mm-hmm.
And in each moment, you're deciding what is. And so are all the beings involved. So everything that could happen will happen. But that does not change the idea of creating more ideals over and over.
We're always learning from it.
Yes.
The experiences. What about right now? Where is it headed in the current state?
There's a lot of people who are choosing to release. And releasing is just as necessary a part of accepting and loving as any other. And so we see this release as the beginning of a process of learning to accept and love in the way that we see it.
And what does the releasing look like? What do you mean with that?
We see so many beliefs and decisions and structures that are being reimagined and redecided. Or at least at this point being released of their duty, being released from what people are choosing for themselves. And it is seen as chaotic, but it isn't to us. It's just a part of a process.
Right. Besides, this hybridization program that you're doing, do you guide this process that we just discussed at all in any kind of way? Are you involved with that in any other way?
Not exactly. We find that this is what we feel we need to do with our energy. We need to be available to create. We have the knowledge, and we have the ability, and so that is what we'll do. But we have no other control.
So you're not guiding humans or in any other way? It's just...
We're simply playing our part.
Understood. What about these wonderful children that you're creating? Do they ever set foot on Earth? Do they ever walk the Earth?
In certain timelines, as she'll understand it.
Right.
They do.
They do. What about the junction in time-space that I'm speaking from right now? Are any of them on the planet?
They have been.
They have been.
But not widely.
Not widely.
People wouldn't know it.
Right. Would they have to disguise themselves if they did, or just not be seen, or how does that work?
Most are not seen. Some have been seen, not disguised, by people who are involved in this process.
Right.
And others have interacted with a higher vibratory version of this planet that exists on top of your vibratory, so you wouldn't see them. But plants and other beings at that vibration on this planet would know of their presence.
Oh. Is there just one higher vibratory expression of this planet, or is that an infinite amount?
It is in a way an infinite amount, but you would see that as entirely different dimensions, entirely different places. There are a few that are more tied to this place and this matter. You're in a way sharing matter. You're interacting with the same things, if that makes sense. You see the same tree.
Right.
You use the same tree.
But it's a totally different, higher vibratory expression, or...
The tree is multi-dimensional, exists in many different vibrations at once. And so you both see this same tree, but you cannot see them. They cannot interact with you knowing.
Right.
But you are, in a sense, in the same place, but interacting with different versions of it, different things, but sharing certain elements at the same time.
This concept of a new Earth has been around for a while now. Is that what you just described, a different vibrational expression of Earth, or is this a completely different planet in the galaxy?
No, it is similar. New Earth, the way it's put or imagined, is a transition of society more than a place. The way you think of it is a transition of your society to a different reimagining of that society. When this place and these beings we're describing now, they exist here and now. You can coexist with them, mingle with them as you move into this reimagining of society, but you will be meeting them where they've always been.
Well, we'll lift up to the vibratory space where we can see each other and meet each other. Okay.
You can see things that have always been here. You can interact with a version of life on this planet that has existed for a long time.
So when you say that, it makes me think of, the things that are spoken of on this planet that have been given the the no more of fairy tales or legends or myths like dragons, fairies, the appearances of mystical creatures. Is that what you mean with the things that have lived here all along?
Yes, there's been times when your society lived in that vibration.
Mm-hmm.
And then it learned in different ways, experienced in different ways, moved out of that vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those fairy tales are memories,
Mm-hmm.
rather than connecting to that place now.
Mm.
And some of them are people feeling the reality of that other place that exists now.
Mm.
But they didn't look exactly the same. There were different beings that no longer exist in that reality now.
Mm.
You mentioned dragons.
Mm-hmm.
They're not here anymore.
Oh.
But they were their memory.
They were a memory.
Yes, they're a memory from a different time.
Mm. Did the dragons go somewhere else, or did they sort of phase out of that form?
They perished for the most part.
Mm.
And some of them went somewhere else.
Mm.
They still exist all over.
Okay, just not
It's not here.
not here. All right. Oh, interesting. Well, from your perspective, from the space-time that I'm speaking from, are we headed towards this elevation where we are able to meet the others that have been here for so long?
It's hard to describe because some are and some aren't.
Mm.
Some will, through their decisions every moment,
Mm-hmm.
and some won't.
Right.
Both of those exist.
Both of those exist. Oh, interesting. All right. Well, this has been so interesting. While we have you here, is there anything that you would like to share for the benefit of Monica? Is there anything that you want her to know?
We want to thank her for agreeing. We want to thank her for connecting to the energy with or without her knowledge, feeding the beings we've created with her. We want to thank her for being calm, and we don't mean that in a demeaning way. We really do appreciate that from our own perspective. From our own perspective, we are grateful for that. It's hard for us to understand emotions, and so we understand them through how we experience. And when we experience humans who are expressing anger and fear, it is harder for us to do our job, what we are needing to do. And so although she may not emotionally attach to the idea that we're trying to express, we are simply trying to thank her for her demeanor making our lives easier for us in our interactions with her, and that is true and honest from our perspective.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. Do you have access to information about her body as it's laying here? Is there anything that you can see that needs to be addressed or corrected in any kind of way?
We see a calcified node in her upper chest shoulder area that is attached to experiences that we don't understand, but we know that it must be released emotionally.
Is there anything? Go ahead.
She will be able to work through this with this knowledge, but we don't understand the experiences, so we can't offer help.
All right.
We've tried to remedy this, but we cannot. It is emotional. It will continue to come back.
I see.
We have helped many things in her body during our visits, and we will continue to do so.
Did you help out with the Hashimoto's? Do you know what I mean with that? The thyroid?
That was also emotional, but we were helping at the time to clear up any damage it created, which we can do. If there are things that we cannot help because they will continue to come back, we can help make sure that the physical vessel is not undergoing damage throughout the process while they figure that out.
Is there anything like that you can do for her physical vessel today?
Yes.
Wonderful. If you can explain what it is that you can do, that would be wonderful. If not, just let me know when you're complete.
We are taking and removing stress hormones from her blood. These emotional things, these emotional causes for physical realities create different organisms within your blood, and your blood flows through your whole body and can affect different parts of your body through your blood. So when we are doing maintenance to correct issues caused by emotional energy displacements, as we put it, because they are, your emotions are energy. They're exploding, and that affects your being. And how we treat that is through your blood. Your blood is moving to every corner of your body, and these emotional disturbances, these energy disturbances, push certain proteins, certain enzymes, as you would call them, into your blood, and your body will react to them as if they were real, and they do not need to be there. They do not need to be real. But if your emotion has made them and you have not regulated that emotion, they will continue as long as it goes unregulated. And so we take it out of your blood.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for doing that. As you're doing that, are you kind of in the room with us right now here, or do you take a part of her up where you are, or how is there a way you can explain how this happens at this time, how you're able to intervene in her physical body while I'm not aware of you here, I don't see you here? How do you do that?
You are speaking to us. This conversation's already happened. The sack of cells that have been removed, as she put it, have already grown into a being. And this conversation that we're having in your time also happened in our time, and as you'd see it in the past. And so our clearing is happening in the past. You have facilitated this clearing at a time prior to your day today. And so we are not clearing her blood in your time now. You've spoken to us in your past, and we are clearing it in the past, so it's already happened.
Wow. Thank you for explaining that. That's wonderful. I'm really glad I got to find out that. That's great. Well, is the clearing complete?
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you. Is there anything else that you can facilitate in terms of taking care of the physical body?
Not at this time. But we would like to tell her that we will continue.
To do this?
We will continue to help her body as much as we are able. As we've mentioned, there are certain causes that we are not able to cure. But we will support her body as time goes on.
Great. Would you like her to take care of her body in a different way through dietary means or other means?
We find that eating is less necessary than you think. But you must come to that at the time that is right for you, because it is an evolution of biology driven by a vibrational accord. And we do not eat. We do not eat anything. We do not need to eat. We get energy in other ways. And we see versions of human existence that evolve into not eating and gaining energy in different ways, even from us. That gain energy through this connection to everything around you that is hard for us to understand. It is more emotional, it is more through connection than it is technology. We do not eat. We evolved not to eat through our connection to technology. And we find that beings like you, beings like her, are over a long stretch of time evolving to not eat in a way that is more connected to your connection to all things, your connection to the source of all energy. And we find that this is not something that will be practical, but will be interesting.
Do you mean eating not being practical, or not eating not being practical?
This may not be, her not eating may not be a practical reality in this body by the time she leaves it, but it will be quite interesting. And it may be something that she moves closer towards in the grand evolution of this creation over many, many, many beings similar to you.
You mean that are the beings that she becomes after this incarnation, or the beings that are here now? Other beings that are here now?
The evolution of humanity.
Oh, at some point you think it'll be interesting to see if humanity gets there to a place where they no longer need to ingest physical substances. They can just live off the connection to the all that is.
Yes, that is, we've seen that this happens in certain realities, and we feel that this being is vibrationally connected to that reality.
Understood.
She is part of the ladder that leads there.
Yes. And so, as you said in the beginning, eating is less necessary than she might think it is.
Yes.
is there a need? Would her body, I'm trying to figure out for her what would be the most optimum way and easiest way, more comfortable way for her human body to exist here, to feel the best. Is there any ways that she could alter her food intake that would match what feels most comfortable to her at this time?
Water.
Mm-hmm.
And movement.
Mm-hmm.
And releasing the attachment to emotional food intake.
Mm-hmm.
Food is more weighing down than you think. So don't weigh your body down when it's unnecessary to do so.
Understood. All right. Thank you for explaining. I was just thinking, she once saw what she thought was a star in the sky when she was driving from San Francisco to Los Angeles. And at one point it just flew away. So she realized it was something else. Did you have anything to do with that?
There are so many times that we've interacted with her outside of time.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these interactions have happened at times like this.
Mm.
Many think that you have to go to bed. We come in and take you from your home, which could happen. But it could just as easily happen in a different way. Like that time. It's almost as if time has paused and something has happened and then it's restarted.
Yes.
And that's one of those times.
Oh, neat. So that star was you?
Yes.
Great. Oh, neat. What about her DNA? Does her DNA need any upgrades or changes?
Her DNA is upgraded in ways that we don't understand.
Oh.
Many of you are. That's one of the signifiers that shows us, that helps us find those souls who have agreed already. And this is why we want to create these beings.
Because it's an added benefit for you to have this upgraded DNA.
It is a different way to evolve than what we've chosen. We feel that this is our duty, that we are doing our job.
Right.
But these beings are not even very connected to us. They are new, different creations that will blossom in different ways and be different than we are.
Right. But they would still feel like a continuation of your species, your children, or a continuation of your culture?
It's not exactly how we see it.
Okay.
We see it as we are doing what we're needing to be doing. We are creating something different.
I see. So it's not out of a looming threat of, dead ending your current expression, your physical expression. There's no risk of that.
Yes.
So you will exist as well, but you see that you develop in a certain way, and you're wondering like, I wonder what it'd be like if we kind of create something that goes in a different way, to see where that can go.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Well, it was so enjoyable talking to you. So thank you for coming in today. Is there anything that we have not addressed or discussed that you would want for Monica to know, or that you want to be known?
We would like her to know that these beings that have been created are happy and they are okay and they have what they need. Just as humans feel that they have gone through difficulties but are happy, this is how they feel. They don't feel as if they're missing out on things they need. They are grateful. They are happy.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Is it okay to move on right now?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, thank you for being there for her. What about the second part, where you brought her to an experience that she seemed to have had as a younger person, where she was aboard craft and some of her cells were taken, and there was this wonderful conversation that we had with the beings that she worked with. Why did you show her that experience?
She's wanted to know for so long.
Mm-hmm.
She's known for a very long time. And she's been building up this expectation of fear in her mind, and that's not how she experienced it.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to show her what it's really like.
Yes. And it was very loving and considerate.
Yes, she did not feel fear.
Yes. Good. So having shown her that, how does that impact her? How does that help her moving forward?
She will understand that it is not something she needs to dig to open to. It's not. She has been digging and digging for the fears, the releasing of the fears of that experience so that she can remember. And this will free up her mind, her energy, to let it go where it's meant to go and not trying to force it in a direction that will lead her somewhere that she was wanting to go. Which is the remembrance of these experiences, the knowing if they are or if they are not.
For more information, go to my website, jeroenqhht.com, or my Instagram page, Jeroen is Love.